Yeah, our program was put together with the idea that, and I think this again goes back to some of what we talked about before about different lawyers, consultants, brokers. I think there's a vested interest a lot of times in people making this process seem very, very mystical. Like there's a magical box that all of the visa inputs go into this side and the visa pops out this side, but nobody knows what happens in the middle. And, in reality, I don't think that's the way to approach the process. There's also a lot of, I think, fear mongering that happens where, again, people don't really want you to understand how the process works, or what the requirements really are, or how difficult it really is. And clearly there's a vested interest for them to make you feel that way. So I've never believed that that's the way to approach the process. I think that the more you can understand what the requirements are, the more you can understand, how it works, and the more we can demystify that process, the better for you as a client. I don't think that, the fear that some people have that, well, if I make it easy for them to understand, they're going to go do it themselves without me. I think that really just highlights how they are so focused on kind of the easiest part of the process, which is, going through the actual visa application process. And, that fear that in some way, if you understand how it works, you're going to just say, well, what do I need them for? That I think that tells a lot. In the end of the day, when you look at our program again, we don't really worry about that happening because, we understand that it's a process that involves more than just applying for a visa, which clearly somebody can do themselves if they want to. I don't necessarily advise it because experience doing these cases, I think, matters a lot in being successful with them. I mean, when you're doing something as big as this, you really don't want to learn on the job. But, somebody can do their own visa case. But again, we're not selling a visa case when we sell our services. We're selling this whole approach that goes from identifying investments, qualifying investments, making sure that they're good investments, making sure that they're going to meet the visa requirements, and then carrying that all the way through. And not only carrying that through to the closing of the sale, but we are also a full service accounting firm that wants to work with you after the sale. So our approach, I guess, again, if you really look at it, is a much longer approach than most people in this industry. If you're talking to a visa consultant or lawyer or broker, a lot of times they view you as kind of a one-time payday. You're going to, buy a business and they're going to get a commission. You're going to do a visa case and they're going to get a fee. And maybe you'll come back to them someday if they're a lawyer or a visa consultant. Maybe you'll come back 5 years later when it's time for a visa renewal. But, what happens in the middle, they really don't care. Our approach is very, very different than that. Again, because we provide all of these different things along the way, and that kind of aftermarket accountancy support to the business that you buy, tax returns, personal and business tax returns, payroll, financial statements, bookkeeping sometimes, all of the different things that a business needs, workers' compensation insurance. We provide a very comprehensive aftermarket kind of service after the closing that, keeps us where we're focusing not just on a one-time payday that you're going to make us money today. I've said to clients before, and maybe it's not the most delicate thing to say, but as a firm, we stand to make a lot more money on you over the next 10 or 15 years than we stand to make today. So I think that long view that we have, and also the absolute confidence that we have that all of those things that we have to bring to table create a value that is so much more value than what some of these other people are providing, we don't worry about you saying, well, I'm going to try to save a buck here and, I'm going to do this myself. Because we know that when you really look at all the facts and when you really look at this entire, continuum of services that you need, that we're the logical choice. So coming back around, that means there's really no reason for us not to make all this information, to open that black box up and to make it all available to you. You want to see how it works. You want to understand, the visa requirements, and there's no reason for us to kind of keep that information from you. Because the more you work through that and the more you learn about that, the more we feel confident that you're going to say, it's worth every bit of what we're going to pay for these guys to captain our ship through the process.